Yeah, great question. So I have a great deal. Number one, I got a master's degree in real estate, which is heavily kind of commercial real estate, based. I also was in the commercial real estate industry for a few years.
Yeah.
And within that, I know that space very well to respect and understand what I was going to probably be deemed as in the commercial real estate brokerage space. Okay. And so when I was coming out here, to give you a little bit of backstory, I was on the investment side, principal side is what we call it, in the commercial real estate space as an asset manager. I knew that my highest and best value was being outside, business development, salesman, broker space. Ended up telling my boss that one day, and he said, okay, cool, your last day will be in 2 weeks, and fired me. Yeah. So that's what happened there. That is a month away from my wife graduating from school.
Oh my gosh.
That is literally just 2 days, might have been 2 days before or after my wife's birthday. On top of that, we were just about a month or so away from ending up moving, because we lived on campus at her school while she was in school. So we were about a month or two away from moving to Los Angeles, where I worked in that space, and my wife is an actress, so we were headed all roads to LA. Backing it up, after that, just a few days later, my last day there at that company, we were coming out here to Atlanta to come see some friends graduate from down in Atlanta, and our family lives in Johns Creek.
Yeah.
And we got some family who lives in Johns Creek. We basically they became like mentors to us in like late when we first moved down to Southern California, and they moved out here late 2021, and we call them family. We came to come visit them, and during that trip, right after it was like, hey, we don't know what's happening next. Right. Just felt like God was calling us to move out here.
That's crazy.
It was very, very. We have come out here to come visit them a couple times, and never thought about moving out here. And now, granted, we came to come visit them in December, January, where it's pretty cold.
Yeah.
But this trip was in May, and granted, it doesn't necessarily say that the weather had to be all in it, but nonetheless, that trip was very, very divine.
Yeah.
Go back home, pray about it.
Yeah.
Felt in great clarity, throughout that next week or so of praying about it, that this is the place that we were supposed to go. One domino left after another. Don't go get another. Kind of felt a little bit in our spirit of like, hey, don't go get another regular job,
right,
in an investment space, and that was a big deal.
Yep.
I mean, and I was hitting the phones left and right before we moved out here, and I'm not to boast about it, but I feel like I should be able to. This should track a little bit better than it is. And something kind of dawned in me. It was like, that's not what I have for you.
Yep.
Also, don't sell your house that you have there. We also had a tenant in it at the same time.
Okay.
So it was going to create a little bit of an odd space. And then, move 3,000 miles away from where you're at. So that was a lot to kind of stomach and figure out. Fast forward, though, coming out here, we were going to pursue entrepreneurship through acquisition of a small business, kind of figuring out what that was like. That really wasn't hitting as much as we thought it would have. And I kind of dawned on me like, man, you're a real estate guy. Get your license and go back into doing what you want to do. And so I could have, made a choice to answer your question, why residential versus commercial. I felt as if, number one, I know that space in commercial very well to where I didn't want to be somebody's runner boy for the next 4 or 5 years.
That's fair. Yeah.
Not necessarily guaranteeing a paycheck, getting maybe a small draw, but really, quite frankly, just doing the same kind of behind the desk office stuff that I was doing with somebody else. Because I would have went on to go work for CB, JLL, one of the big box companies, and I was just like, nah, I'm not doing that. Yep. And so I pivoted into saying, hey, I'm going to go on the residential route and, quite frankly, really separate myself as somebody who has commercial real estate experience, has a master's degree in real estate, has a background that I have managed $100+ million of real estate before. So to sell your $1, $2, $3, $4 million home to me is not world changing. Correct. And I think that there's not enough. I don't think that there are a lot, I should say, agents who could be able to speak to that. Yes, there's going to be people who are here who've been here longer than I have. That's probably the only thing that I would say to any other real estate agent has, in difference to me. But that's coming, and that comes with time, and that comes with being out here on LinkedIn and in the space where I can then say, hey, now I'm here. here's what I add value on, here's what I'm with, and now the company that I'm with Sirhan, like now I'm playing, you know what I'm saying, a whole totally different game of more on a very much, you know, global scale, a lot of eyeballs, and that's where I feel like I can add a lot of value and be really my own business owner at the same time versus just still working behind somebody else.